All right, and welcome to this special episode of Real Estate Fight Club. This is a series called What Would You Do, where we talk about professional standards, committee, and ethics violations. And today we're going to talk about should agents attend other agents' open houses. Jim, what do you have for us today?
I've got a slightly different twist because this is a situation that happened to one of my agents over the past weekend. She does a lot of representations and open houses for builders, and she was at a builder's open house. Matter of fact, it was Parade of Homes. And, people were coming and going, agents were coming in and previewing. Again, it's Parade of Homes. And a couple came in.
So that one's normal. That's
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so this couple came in and she started to have a conversation with them and, asked the usual questions. And then they volunteered that, no, we're just beginning our home search. We're downsizing and we are not represented. We haven't chosen a realtor yet.
Okay.
So that was normal.
That's fine.
What got interesting was an agent with an entirely different brokerage firm came out of one of the back bedrooms overhearing the conversation. And she said, I couldn't help but overhear the fact that you are not working with an agent right now. And I'd like to give you my card and work with you.
Stop it.
And she just literally
Really?
got in between the two of them and gave her card to the couple and said, here's my card.
That's ridiculous. What happened?
So how would you have reacted? What would you have done?
I think that I need to think about it. Is there any violation of any codes here? I don't think so, because there was no signed agreement to work together, right? So it's not like they were crossing signs.
Yeah, exactly. Matter of fact, I reread all 17 articles this morning just to make sure. What it refers to is if you're in violation of any of the articles in the code, there's typically an agency relationship.
Yeah, and there wasn't here. This was just okay. Let's take a short break. I want to talk to you about two of our sponsors, and both are marketing sponsors. So Pipeline Pro Tools has been my number one lead generating source because right now there's just not a lot of expireds. And so I've been using their playbooks, and if you go to pipelineprotools.com/fight club and you sign up for a demo, which in the demo, they'll show you how many leads you'll need to get in order to do the number of transactions that you want. And then you'll get my playbook for free. You don't even necessarily have to use Pipeline Pro Tools, but just have to do the demo. And then the other one is Ghost Poster, which is Monica's company, where she'll give you every day, Monday through Friday, something to post. It is free. So you just go to ghostposter.com, and Ghost Poster is spelled GHOSTPOSTR, no E.com. Okay. All right. So Jim, back to the question.
Okay.
I think that it's fucking rude. One. It's so weird. Like, it's so weird. Who does that? What kind of creeper does that?
Well, she did it. And my agent just was flabbergasted. And she said, well, that was bold.
She said that?
Yeah.
That was bold. I'd be like, what is wrong with you?
And you know how the other couple reacted?
They ripped up her card.
Ripped up her card and threw it away. So if she was thinking that she was going to pick up a new client at somebody else's expense, at somebody else's open house, she lost. I mean, that was.
Yeah, that's insane. I think though, yeah, I mean, there are certain questions that you like ask potential leads as they come through the door, right? But the purpose of those questions are to set up a buyer appointment or a list if they're a seller, because a lot of sellers come to open houses too. Set up an appointment for an additional conversation. Maybe don't have like the full blown conversation there. I don't know how deep into the conversation they got. It sounds like it was pretty like at the beginning stages. But I think just having that in mind, not taking the time right there to do a buyer consult. I think
Oh,
set
yeah,
the appointment. Yeah.
absolutely. And yeah, that normally doesn't happen. One of the objectives of an open house is to get an appointment.
Yeah.
But this one was just totally rude, totally
Yeah.
unprofessional.
Right.
And if you think about the reputation that a lot of real estate people have had over the years,
Yeah.
it hasn't been stellar.
No.
And I've worked really hard over the years to raise the perception of our profession.
Right.
And for somebody to do something so
Bold,
uh,
ballsy. What is the word choice?
well, it was
Rude.
embarrassing. It was embarrassing. It was rude. It
Yeah.
was uncalled for. It just wasn't the right thing to do.
What brokers were they from, Jim?
XYZ Realty.
I knew you weren't going to tell me.
Yeah.
We need to put him on blast.
No, I'm not going to do that. So here's what we did. When she told me about the situation and she was visibly upset, I said, write it down in an email and send it to me.
Okay.
So she wrote it down. She summarized it. And I looked at it, I said, that is perfect. And I think we need to do two things. One, send that to the other agent. She took the card and put it back together again and taped it so she could get
the evidence.
I have a photograph of it.
That's awesome.
I said, and send me both of those, and I'm going to forward it to her sales manager.
Yeah.
So I researched, found out who her sales manager is, and I sent that to her. And I said, this was rude and unprofessional behavior. I am not going to take this any further, as the broker.
But there's really nothing you can do.
No, but I said, what I strongly urge you to do is use this as a coaching lesson for your agent. And I looked up her production. I looked up her length of time in the business, and she should know better. She's been licensed for like 6 years.
Really?
Come on.
That's
this is
hilarious.
not a newbie. So,
and has done like production, like not.
She has, not great production, but some production. I looked that up too. And it was not appropriate.
So I guess I'm thinking about it. Okay. So if you attend another agent's open house, one, is that a best practice? And two, what are you looking for? I think I have an opinion, but what do you think?
Yeah. In our marketplace, every Tuesday, we hold broker open houses. So we can go and preview the listing inventory.
Okay.
And you just never know. We're all walking around with buyer clients in our back pockets. So it might be the right product for one of the clients that you're working with.
But are these ones that are already listed or not?
Well, this is a builder's community.
Okay.
Yeah. And Parade of Homes attracts a lot of traffic.
Okay.
A lot of traffic, both with the public and with agents. And it's a great opportunity to preview.
Yeah. But I'm just talking about open houses in general.
Yeah, I go to those too, because it's also about establishing relationships with my fellow agents. Because when you're co-oping, you want a win-win situation. And so
what is your process and practice for when you are attending an open house? Do they know you're coming? What's your purpose?
No, they don't know that I'm coming, and I always wear my name badge. That's always right there. And I always introduce myself.
You're such a good realtor.
Know who they are. I told you, years to elevate the perception. So, I just say, I want to take a look at your product, and it helps me stay on what the market is doing as well.
Yeah, I think it's a good practice, especially if there are ones that are in your area. But I wonder too, I don't really actually do it, but there are some agents that don't do dual agency, right? And so it could be hey, I want to look at it because this is exactly where I work with a lot of buyers and sellers in this neighborhood. Congratulations on your listing. And hey, by the way, if you do have somebody that comes through and you're not comfortable with dual agency, I'm happy to help. I know the area really well, whatever, right? You can do that. Do you think that would be perceived well?
Well, yeah. We all do it. And if I'm going to have a listing in a particular neighborhood coming up soon, and a listing comes up somewhere in that community, I'm going to go look at it. Yeah. I want to know what my competition is, so I can help guide my seller client as to pricing and other strategies.
But you could also, if you see an open house coming up, it's unlikely that the agent is doing, like, we call it like the 7 levels of open housing, like to get enough people through the door. So you could, or they may not want to do it, right? So you could offer to host it if because they may not want to do it.
We
Ooh.
cannot host for another brokerage. Only
Why?
within our own brokerage. It's against the law.
Stop it.
In Minnesota, it is against the law.
Why?
You cannot hold an open house for another brokerage.
Why?
The law says you cannot do that.
But why?
Plus it might be misleading and confusing to the public, but the bottom line is the law says no. That's in the annotated code.
Okay, well, I guess I wonder if it's illegal in other states.
Double check it in your state.
Look, I don't care.
Yeah, no, because I have a buddy that has his own company, and he called me about a month or two ago, and he asked if I could loan him an agent to hold one of his listings open because he couldn't, and I just said, Bill, I'm sorry. Yeah,
that's so interesting. It feels weird that you're not allowed, but are you allowed with permission to market other agents' homes, right? Like you're allowed to do that, other agents' listings.
If you've got written permission, and think of it this way, our multiple list is advertising.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Relationship. So yeah, you're doing that.
In the IDX feed. So you could, okay, so let's say it's illegal in your state to hold the open house, or they don't want you to, or whatever. Be like, do you mind if I market it? This is where I do a ton of business. I'd like to promote it and push it out and potentially find a buyer. And then you always have to have, like, of course, like the actual listing agent's name and company on there, but you could door knock, make calls, do all the things.
Yeah. And I'm canvassing in the neighborhood. You may or may not be aware of the house that just came on the market down the street.
Right.
No, it's not my listing, but it's a great house. I've been in it. And
I'll be there at this time. I'm able to show it to you if you want to. Yeah, you could do that, right?
I'd be glad to show it to you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll make an appointment.
I'll make an appointment to show it to you. But if they are having an open house, you could say, are you available on such and such day and time? And I'll meet you there and we'll walk through it.
Yeah. I mean, I may or may not have a relationship with that person at that point. And
that's okay though, right?
I would rather have a conversation about agency relationships, because I don't want there to be confusion as to whom.
Well, you have to have that form signed before you even go through it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So you would get that signed, you would have the conversation, like, yeah, but you could do it then too. That's interesting. That's like kind of a slippery slope, I guess.
It is kind of,
because like what
area.
Yeah, like what do you not do? What you don't do is like come out from around a bush and hand out your card to people.
From behind a bush.
Here, I can help you.
No, don't do that.
Don't do that. Definitely don't do that.
Oh, you're funny.
Bad etiquette. All right. Any final thoughts, Jim?
No, I just thought that this would be an interesting one because it's not really a violation of any of the code.
Yeah.
But it is just really, really poor judgment and poor manners and unprofessional behavior. And
it's definitely poor manners.
I would have a real serious conversation with that agent if she was under my umbrella.
No kidding. Like, what drugs were you taking that day?
Where was your
head? Did you not take your regular, Valium?
Yeah. And reverse the roles.
Right.
Would you want somebody to do that to you?
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Well, Jim, if people have a referral for you in Minnesota, it's Jim Camarata with Keller Williams. What is the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Either email, which is first and last name, Jim Camarata @kw.com, or text or call 612-562-7461.
Awesome. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jen. Good talk to you.
You too.